Jesse?
Hey,
Hey, Jamie Kennedy.
hey, what's up, buddy? Yeah, right off the bat, I just want to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you, my man. Yeah, brother. It's been a week, I think. Yeah,
Y-
appreciate it. Big 5-0.
Yeah, I know things are crazy, and speaking of your birthday, I was fortunate enough to interview him once before, but I saw Stu's post. Can you talk a little bit about y'all's relationship?
Stu's like one of my best friends. He's one of my greatest people. I love that guy, and we've been friends for almost 20 years, and he's somebody I collaborate a lot with. Between music and cartoons and TV shows and movies. I mean, I've done a lot of different things with him, and he just, he made a nice post about me. So
Yeah, I thought it was really nice. When I interviewed him, I think it was for one of his movies, like Scarecrows, I believe, and it was the first time I had ever spoke to him. Since then, we've talked a lot, but I asked him if he had ever used his like Magic School Bus voice to get laid, and he disappointed me when he said no. I don't believe I don't believe him. But do you have any like insight or do you have any truth that that I can bring back to him?
I don't think he used that one, but I do think he might have used the Care Bear voice.
That's perfect, man. I also spoke with Patrick Lussier back when he was promoting Trick, and I thought you were phenomenal in that movie, man. I was
It's a good movie, isn't it, man?
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. It was weird. It kind of got overlooked a little bit, and anyone that's like asking for a new Halloween movie or like a new I really I see like a possible franchise there, and I really thought that you like helped like push that film over the top a little bit. Like it was you were what that film needed to make it set it aside from the others. How did you get involved with that particular project?
Well, Patrick is, he's been there for my whole career. He's somebody that, if I don't see him for 8 years, we'll just hug. He's a great guy, and he has been there since the beginning, since Scream. And he's I owe him my career in a lot of ways more than, like Wes is the best, and Patrick's right there because he edited my performance. And so he's done a lot over his career, doing different horror movies and doing, completely doing the Terminators and writing those. And he just came to me and met me for coffee.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got this role. And, sometimes people really make you jump through hoops, and he was like, will you do this movie? And I was like, I love it. I'm like, what's the character? And then he's like, it's this. And I was like, what if he does this? And he's like, okay. So then we had like 2 meetings, and he was like, let me input my ideas. And, and he was very collaborative, letting me throw it in. And the fact that the character then became part of this movement, I don't want to spoiler alert it, but I thought was really cool. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to do it. I wanted to work with him. I believe he's an auteur, he's a writer, he's a director, he's an editor. I mean, he knows exactly what he's doing and what he gets.
Yeah.
And when he's done, he's done. And I thought there's a definite franchise here, and my character could be a nice part of that.
Yeah, I agree. It was interesting too. I felt like the film. I think maybe the editing of the trailers hurt it a little bit because it seemed much more smart and like just overwhelmingly clever than the trailers kind of perceived it or like made it appear. But I understand. Sometimes you have to edit the trailers so it will appeal to a larger audience. But yeah, I can't talk about your performance, as well as that film enough. I thought it was fantastic.
Well, thank you. I mean, Patrick really made it for the audience. That's a hardcore. He made a hardcore horror movie. I mean, it's not too much levity in the movie. It's intense, and Omar is just the perfect anchor. This cop that's seen so much with pathos, in his eyes, and Ellen Adair, who's also like this, emotional performance, and it's good. I mean, it's got a mix of iconic people. It's got horror. It's got great actors. It's awesome. It's like I'm so lucky to be part of it, and it was Patrick just really, really, really put that whole thing together, and we were shot in upstate New York, and it was like a little family. It was nice. I missed it. I missed that set.
And you mentioned Wes and like Scream, obviously. Um, I don't really want to go too far into it because I'm sure you're getting tired of those questions. But I read something recently about Rose McGowan is like trying to promote herself as like there being a twin or some weird shit, and they did the same thing with your character. Like they were trying to bring it back for the fourth, and I was just kind of curious what you thought about that. Like, what do you think about Rose trying to inject herself into a film that she doesn't necessarily need to be in? Like, it's a weird thing. I thought that was strange.
I didn't know that. I had no idea that she was doing that. But I mean, look, I think that Rose's character is integral to Scream. I mean, her death is one of the greatest deaths in
Yeah,
horror, right? I mean, it's such a memorable scene in the garage door. I've seen Halloween costumes like that.
true.
So Tatum Riley is like an iconic figure, and she is in that world and in the way it is. Like if you go through the 70s, the 80s, and 90s, Rose is like on the Mount Rushmore of death. So I didn't know she was doing that, but I mean, look, more power to it, right? If it all happens, I mean, the worlds are changing. They're making so many different rules now. So I think they're going to do that with the three anchors, obviously Nev, Courtney, and David, and then they go from there. But Scream is, who knows where the next one's going to go? I know I'm dead. I think I'm dead. I'm probably still dead, but
Well, I bring it up because, like, I guess the rumors for the fourth one were that you were gonna somehow reprise your role as like an evil twin, and then I guess she kind of took that same idea and like was like, well, why was there two beds in my room if I didn't have a twin that was like at camp or something? I don't know.
I
It's
never heard that about me. I never heard that either.
See, it's out there, man. People want like the return of those like elusive characters.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's listen. It's a lot. I think one of the reasons why Scream is so good is because they kill characters that you love.
Yeah,
And I think that Randy, as much as I'd like him to somehow pop up, he's dead. He did his time, and he's gone in the ether. You know what I mean? Unless you make a prequel.
yeah. So, onto the special. How did you link up with Tubi? Like, how does that process even work?
Tubi's a great streaming service. You're starting to see them more and more now, and they have my old specials, and they have a movie, Kicking It Old School, and they have other movies of mine, and they're like, we really like you, and I really like them, and they're very collaborative, so I'm all about it.
Yeah,
And they're like, let's do this. So they're such a good partner. I talk to them directly, and I just think that they're great. So I said, let's do it.
I really enjoy like services like Tubi or a lot of those free apps are extremely accessible, and I think that's really interesting that you decided to go that route because it makes it available to everyone, but at the same time, it's still being like promoted in a way that like a typical film or special would be as well. Um, outside of maybe them being so personable with you, did that kind of help impact your decision to go with them?
I just think, look, you do a special, it's like you want everyone to see it, right? And so they're a great service, and their model is, a commercial in the front, a commercial in the middle, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Tubi is like free Netflix. They have so many movies that you can't find anywhere else. And so, I always thought I'm on TV, and TV is the most accessible thing. It's free. And so let people consume it. And, you know, if they love it, then they'll show up in the clubs when I go on tour again. And why not? I mean, the special is just basically a commercial for your live performances. So
Sure.
I'm like, everybody should watch it.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned, like, I got sent a screener for the film, or for the special, obviously, but I still watched it on Tubi just to kind of see, you know, what the experience would be like for anyone. And you're not kidding, man. Like, I maybe watched two ads. It didn't take me out of the, you know, out of the element. It was perfectly fine. So
That's great.
I thought that was pretty cool, man. Like, I think it's a big deal for you guys, like, to take chances like this, go with Tubi. I mean, you know, we hear about Joe Rogan going to Spotify, but this is also a big step, you know, to go towards someone, you know, something that's a little bit different and not quite Netflix, but like still, I think they're making the right moves, man.
That's how you become Netflix. And Netflix wasn't Netflix when they started putting comedians up either. It was HBO, and HBO wasn't HBO before it was movie. So I think everyone, new platforms arise, and I think Tubi's going to be the next. It's going to be the next big thing, and I go where the love is, and they were showing a lot of it. So I was like, yes, let's do it there.
Excellent. So you mentioned in the special that you're 46. So the film, it was filmed 4 years ago.
No, I'm 50. I was filmed when I was 48.
Okay.
The end of my 48th year, but it was just, the joke is 46 because it sounded good. I know it's not 4 years old.
Okay.
So many people are going to be technical, but
well, it was weird because I was like, that's really strange because a lot of the stuff in this is so topical. So I was like, is he a time traveler? Like, this is
no, 6 sounds better than 8 when you do the joke. So it's like 46. I just got a huge laugh, and I never changed it because I wrote that joke when I was 46.
Okay.
So, but brother, thank you, man. They got me on a tight schedule here. You got one more or no?
Sure. Yeah, I want to ask you about VR Troopers. Like, I saw that listed on your IMDb. What was that like? Like, how did that happen? Like, I know it's random, but I am very curious.
VR Troopers was the first credit ever.
Yep.
My first credit ever of anything, and it was a great, like, spin-off of a huge franchise, which is Power Rangers, and it was non-union, but it was like, wow, I'm getting paid to act. I'm getting paid to be crazy. It was just an audition, and I went in, and I auditioned, and I auditioned, and I auditioned, and then they took a chance, and they were really sweet to me, and it didn't go to series. It was a pilot, but I thought, man, this is good. It was great, but it didn't go anywhere. But it was very cool. It was Saban Entertainment.
Excellent, man. Well, thank you. Here at CineDump, we let the doers know how they're doing, and you're doing just fine, man. I really appreciate your time. Like I said, I think big moves make the big decisions, and going with Tubi, I think that while a lot of people might see it as an odd move, I think that it's the future, man. So congratulations and happy birthday.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. And anytime we'll talk about stuff, keep me on the list, man.
I appreciate it, sir.
You too. Bye-bye.